Hey guys, today I would like to take a look with you into 2v2 game where I played Byzantines. Why Byzantines? Because as you can see, it was kind of interesting game. There was only new civs present in the game. I was the only old civ, and it was against very decent opponents. This guy is basically Conqueror 3 plus in solos. This guy has like a very good win rate, but I don't know who he is because he's on a Smurf. This guy is 3D Waffle, so I had a very mediocre teammate. And in the end, it resulted basically with me, aka with the Byzantines, being the deciding factor. And in the end, we basically steamrolled both of our opponents. And I think still that Byzantines they are on a very decent spot even with the new civilizations, because as you can see, one of the opponent was the Lancaster booming with the manors. Guy was Knights Templars with second TC, and as you can see I was still able with the Byzantines basically, at least keeping up the pace with them, but for most of the time, being ahead economically wise. Okay, so let's take a look. It was on Lipane, which is very good map for Byzantines because there is of course a lot of berries. So let's take a look. Okay, so here we are in the game. As I said, it's on Lepane. First thing, which is really sweet, if I'm thinking about it, and I just realized, if you have like Templar teammate, it's so good that you can see the relics. And for example, here, not only you can see the relics, but only just by taking a look there, you know that deer spawn is over here, right? There is second relic, there is third relic, and I was telling to Waffle like it's very nice. Imagine playing HRE, like, yeah, right, you can see all the three relics, this relic also in kind of decent spot. Yeah, so basically I went with like the classic build order which I showcased in the previous video. Like one guy goes to the stone, second guy goes to the gold, remaining guys are on the sheep. Even this guy goes to the sheep, so we were left 6 on the sheep. Of course the guy who went onto the gold makes the house on its way, and the next guy, basically the seventh guy, if I'm not counting the guys on the ship, goes to build the cisterns, and so after building the cistern, he goes to mine the gold. Why cistern here? Uh, Someone of you might be asking. Because it's touching the gold where I'm mining, it's touching the gold, touching the stone, and at the same time, it will be in the range of the, like, almost half of the food line, which is pretty decent. This is all of the resources which I need in the Dark Age, plus of course the sheep under the TC, right? So it's very decent, and very likely where I will like to put the second cistern is somewhere over here, so it's touching the second berries, right? But I don't need the cistern here yet because I'm not getting the berries so far. So this is very decent spot. Also because it's at the back, into the future it will be very good for me to start making buildings here, like mercenary houses, barracks, stables, archer ranges. It of course depends. Okay, I will speed it up a bit over here. Here, basically nothing like very important happens. Only like thing which I usually recommend people is to pre-select the number of villagers with who we wanna age up. Here I selected 4, for example. I left the guys on the foot for some time because I know that sooner or later I will move 5 villagers to go into the wood. As you can see over here, you might be thinking, okay, you are crazy. You left only 1 guy on the foot. Yeah, but because I was there for some prolonged time, I had actually, right now I have enough food to, to sustain constant production of the villagers. So in the end, it's not a tragedy, right? Yeah, and as you can see, thanks to the one guy being on the stone, I'm basically able to make a second cistern. I don't have enough stone to actually connect them yet, although right now very likely I do. So yeah, this is basically the power of having one guy on the stone for the entire time, which means that right after age up, and as you can see, I already basically set a blueprint there, and basically once they will start gathering the berries, they will be buffed immediately. Also, again, it's very worth it to use one cistern for production buildings, which I will be using this ones, and this cistern will be used for faster techs, mainly, most importantly, of course, from grind binary, like the wheelbarrow or the horticulture. Yeah, and here, of course, what's very important, as in every single game, scouting. Which means I've scouted mining camp on the stone, which means, okay, this guy, he goes second TC, but where is he gonna place the second TC? Firstly, I thought that maybe he would like to put it here, because there is a boar, there are also the berries, and it's also, bit into the like in the direction of the sacred side, so it would be also covering the pilgrims. Thankfully, or maybe sadly, of course, it depends on to what I'm planning to do. He had another plan, and he made a second TC, I think here, which is kind of well protected because it's behind the first TC, right? So I wanted to just see the location of the second TC. He was kind of delayed. I think he was delayed because he firstly went with like the tech for the pilgrims. So he made the pilgrims first, and then he decided to add the second TC. Yeah, and what I'm doing in the meantime, of course you can see everything in the bottom left corner, so if you pay attention there, you can see where I'm sending the bills. But I basically went with like the regular build, I would call it, with like having a lot of villagers on the berries, a lot of villagers on the wood, because I need barracks, I need mercenary house, I need stables, I need siege engineering, and I need to make a rams sooner or later. And of course, the sooner, the better it is. Here maybe I kind of slept on the fact that he could be walking here with the pilgrims. I expected him to be going here basically since the beginning. And also I mostly focused on the middle because of the waffle pilgrims basically going there, basically carrying his ass since the feudal age, right? Cake W. Yeah, here you might be thinking, oh, why you have so much wood? Usually, where you wanna use wood, you wanna start making like the farms. Not in this case, because again, we are on the Lipane, and as you can see, I've already cistern here prepared for this. I still have some berries left here. There are of course berries as well, and there is shit of berries over there and over there. So there is just it would be basically waste of the resources for me to start adding farms this early, and just better is to spend the wood elsewhere, namely on the rams, of course, because I know that my opponent is 2 TC, I'm 1 TC, and for me it is very, very crucial to deal some damage, destroy the second TC, kill some production buildings, kill some villagers, something like that. So he's basically delayed. Of course, I have the benefit of basically being the Byzantine, which means that I'm not like 1 TC, but I work more. My eco basically work more like 1.5 TC, and at the same time I can fill up a lot of units. Mostly thanks to the olive oil, right? These guys, the chivalry, they are not as decent. They might be looking scary, just like regular knights. But for example, against longbows, they are kind of dog shit, I would say, because they are basically lacking the one extra ranged armor, so they are basically dying as fast as horsemen. So I'm like, okay, this is fine. Also, he's yelling with some villagers over there. So, and here I've of course spotted him to go there with the villagers, so he's very likely struggling with the food, which makes sense because his one food source is here, second here, the boar is there, and he can be only on the berries at the back, which is nothing special for him. Here, of course, as soon as possible, I'm starting to make a rams, like with a decent number of longbows, of course, because again, he's not dumb. He saw the Limitane early on, so of course he's making the archers right now. And the thing is with the Templars that you can fill up like so many archers very, very quickly, because you have your wood gathering eco is just very, very perfect. On the other side, like, there is nothing very, very interesting happening, I would say, of course, because it's a waffle. No, it's mostly because of course he's playing against Lancaster, so what might be happening, right, in the meantime? Like, only what was interesting was him like aging up with Abbey of Kings. That is kind of interesting, I have to admit, but Waffle is trying to basically play his game of own, and I want to focus mostly on myself in this game, on the Byzantines, so let's just focus here. What's maybe kind of important is that I, for example, spent 100 wood on this outpost. Why? Because I knew that he has part of his army consists of very, very mobile and kind of like, strong units, which means, okay, I want to have my eco protected. That's why there is an outpost. If I saw him having only, for example, I don't know, archers and extrovers or archers and spears or something, I very likely wouldn't invest like the additional resources into some protection. But unless the opposite teammate would be, I don't know, French or somebody with like very, very mobile units. So that's the reason why I, for example, spent some resources on the outpost. Again, it's very, very good to prioritize this upgrade, and also in the future this upgrade, because I will be fighting under the TCs, under the outpost, etc., etc. But most importantly, this upgrade, because I know I have the longbows here, I know he has these units. So if I'm gonna have the upgrade and he will lack the ranged armor upgrade, I will be like killing them super, super easily. Here, of course, very, very big mistake from him of like making production buildings like this, so I can burn it down very, very easily. And as you can see, he's very, very desperate for like, you know, trying to move elsewhere, trying to like make buildings again, which is basically just waste of resources for him, right? Yeah, and in the meantime, here I think is something very, very important. Here I started to make few farms, you know, only like 5 farms, and at the same time I'm still on the berries here, still on the berries here, so not like very, very big like farm transition. I just slowly added more farms because I realized, okay, now I have enough wood. Of course, in the meantime, it's very, very good for you to keep adding the cisterns, because as you can see, this is basically 4 cisterns, and I'm already able to make a 5th one, very likely here, so I can buff all of this, right? This would be perfect spot. And basically at 11-minute mark, I'm like level 5 cisterns, so which is very, very decent buff. Again, it's plus 26%, so it's very, very, very good. At the same time here, very important moment, yeah, here you can decide, do I want to add the farms or do I want to add third ram? And I felt like, okay, his army is very small, I've dealt a lot of damage, I basically kind of don't need a third ram. But if he was able, you know, to damage them, or he had more army and I was be kind of, you know, afraid of losing the rams in the process, I would of course like make a fourth one, you know, and try to push with that. But as you can see, my army is very, very decent. I have 15 longbows already. The next 5 will be on their way very, very soon. And at the same time, what's very, very, very important is me starting to send the villagers onto the gold right now. Why? Because if I will start sending villagers to the gold right now, I know that in like 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes, I will be able to go into the castle. You might be thinking, oh, you are not able to go into the castle. You like the food, and you at the same time you still like 400 gold, right? I'm not making gold heavy units, right? I think you even cannot as Byzantine, right? There is nothing what can cost you the gold, only olive oil, food, and wood, right? So if you send more villagers to the gold and you are not like getting any more upgrades, basically I have all the like very, very important eco upgrades. As you can see, I'm lacking this one, but that's fine because I've only like 5 villagers gathering from the stone or gold. And earlier, of course, I have way, way, way more villagers on the wood, so it was very, very worth it for me to get a double brodex. But yeah, thanks to having more villagers onto the gold, sooner I will be able to go into the castle age way, way, way easier. Why? Because it can be very important. Let's say he's massing a lot of army, and of course he will be stuck in the feudal, because otherwise, if his plan was to go into the castle, he would just lose the TC, second TC, and he would have barely any army to defend, right? But let's say even if he was in a way better spot, he wouldn't lose these production buildings, you know. He would, like, his ego would be very, very efficient. By the way, this is how important is scouting, right? I know where his entire ego is and how big his army is, right? I saw portion of the army here, I saw the villagers being here, etc., etc. What I wanted to say, let me finish the sentence, I forgot. It's just jumping from one, one processing to another one. Uh, yeah, but for me, let's say his situation would be very better, and he would have basically the same army which he needs in order to defend, like for this push. Let's say there are like 5 more knights and I don't know, 10 more archers, or maybe he would need even more because of the balance abilities like shield wall, right? But let's predict this fight would go 50-50. I still have, you know, the card in my sleeve in the form of going into the castle age, getting the upgrades very, very fast, and then after basically getting the upgrades, there is no way for him to actually be able to defend. You know, I would just come with another wave where like I would lose all the limitane in this fight. I would lose, let's say, like almost most of the longbowmen, but at the same time, I would be able to replace them quite easily, like with another limitane, or maybe even like with the Varangian guards, and at the same time I'm able to get these upgrades, these very, very crucial upgrades, very easily and very, very fast, right? And after getting these upgrades, I'm able to basically kill everything with the longbows, both the knights, both the archers, and I would be able, if I wouldn't be able to finish him right now, I know that I would be able to finish him, you know, once I will be in a castle in like 2 minutes, basically after hitting the castle or so. Yeah, here is the fight. It's questionable if it wouldn't for me, if it wouldn't for me be a better just, you know, to come from a side and for example attack the second TC, because I didn't know, I didn't realize, but this TC has 8,000 HP, which is even more than like in a regular TC. for any different civilization. So I basically lost like a lot of units here under the TC, but at the same time, you know, it's a lot of like villagers idle, 15 idle villagers. At the beginning he was away with the villagers, so it wasn't garrison at all, right? And at the same time I've seen his army, so I knew that I'm able to do it. Maybe here it would be worth it to get the third round because it would be burned already, you know, and I would be able to kill him way faster. Here somebody age upped, not sure who that was, honestly. Oh, it was just destroying the landmark. Okay, I just got confused by the sound. Yeah, here maybe you might think, okay, this is kind of mismacro because you are floating a lot of gold already, and at the same time you don't have the wood. The food. But here you can see I've just deleted some units from the queue, and I've decided, okay, now it's the time to go into the castle. Okay, for sure, I'm still floating 300 gold. But again, the thing with Byzantines is that the moment you age up, you need a lot of gold. You need gold for monks, you need immediately gold for upgrades, and at the same time you need the gold for the units after hitting the castle. It can be Varangian guards, or even in worst case, it can be the Cartafrancs, right? So here I was like, okay, Buffalo, you can be playing your own one versus one. I will just finish the TC, and then after this, maybe I will try to actually help you, right? You know, I just wanted him to struggle. At the same time, I just wanted to wait for the upgrades, to be honest, right? Here I'm going with the army. Don't forget to like use the leave the shield wall once you are not in the fight. Otherwise, your entire army is moving so slowly. Yeah, and here after hitting the castle, as I told, immediately monks, immediately the most crucial upgrades. As you can see, this one, monks, and basically here it's up to you to realize, do I need different army composition? Do I want to stick with my army composition? Do I want to add more production buildings? Here I, for example, decided to get this upgrade because I've realized I have over 20 limit, so it's worth it for me. If I had 5 of them, because most of them died in some fight, I wouldn't I wouldn't be getting this upgrade in the first place, and I would immediately switch into the Varangian guards, unless of course I would be fighting I don't know, French, who was heavily spamming knights, for example. But this of course wasn't the case. And here I'm just moving into the opponent base, and I think you can predict what's gonna happen. Yeah, but I think this is the way of like how to play Byzantines, trying to put some pressure. And the power spike of the Byzantines is that you are able to apply a lot of pressure but age up at the same time behind it, if you know how to manage your macro. And at the same time, you can see I've made only 7 farms. I know in basically in the build video I told that it's very good to have, for example, like 7 villagers on the farms and trying to add them constantly. I left them on 7 because I knew, again, here you can see the cistern. Maybe it could be, again, small flaw, but it could be here to buff everything basically here. But again, I have very good reserves of the berries. This is also the reason why Byzantines are basically S tier civilization on Lake Bani. Together, I would say even Abbasids are very decent here, thanks to the lot of food income. But yeah, here it's basically GG. He just saw me moving into his base, and you know, they tap out because I was there with the Rams, with the Castle Age army. He was in feudal, so no chance for him to actually fight me. Okay, so this was the video, and have a nice day, and see you soon. Bye bye.